Hey friends! Good morning, good afternoon, good time zone. How are y'all doing? I was gonna wait a little longer, but I started a smidge late because I lost track of time. It's fine. Hi, Sketchy! Who all do we have in chat at the moment? Travis, Luna, Nem, Sketchy, hello, welcome, good morning. It's morning for me. It's technically afternoon, but I didn't get out of bed until a couple hours ago, so it's morning. Howdy, y'all. How are we doing? How are things? We are. It's not necessarily a terrible thing, working from home, but also work. I hope it goes well. Greta Garbo, you took a nap and woke up twice. This is why naps are bad, but also if people need naps, take naps. But also, naps are bad. It could listen. Comrade could be Comrade Pissmaster 9000. You could just expand on the name. I'm sorry you didn't sleep well, though. Right? Look, Pissmaster can be Piss Baby's best friend now. Who she is. Hold on, I'm gonna move my microphone real fast just so I can, like. This is where she lives now. This is where she lives now. This is what she does. She just lays here. Piss pals! You gotta love a good piss pal. That is framed wrong. It's fine. It's lettuce baby. Lettuce piss baby. But, yeah. No, sport tickets suck, but a routine is good. You got this. I have faith in you. Hi, Allie. Also hi, Allie. It's okay. You know what? Things can be a little rough. Hi, Devo. It's a Wednesday, my dudes. Which is like one of the rougher days of the week for people who have a weekend schedule. We got this, though. You got this. Yeah. Hi, Budno. Thank you for the lurk, friend. Trying to think of what there is to say. I have officially... Sorry, moving my microphone again. I have officially dropped all my classes for next semester, because I'm not gonna sit in a classroom with 100+ people while the pandemic is still raging. I've decided that is not a good idea for me. So no schedule changes for the foreseeable future. Yeah. How many of the support tickets are things for things you no longer support? That is a good question. Sketchy, we need an answer if you feel comfortable sharing. Wednesday more like Wednesday, because I am so done. Mood. Oof. Allie, you gotta fill me in on the deets if you're up for sharing. But, yeah. Basically my big thing with pushing to continue to do school is that I'm, like, in my last year. I don't have too many more classes that I have to do. Plus there was some perceived pressure from the people I live with to continue to do that. But anyway, and also just kind of needing the cash, but we'll approach the problems as they show up. I would much rather not die and or get a long-term disability from something that could be avoided, if I can avoid it, and I can avoid this, for the most part. I can limit the exposure that occurs, so we're going to. So hey, you might be seeing a lot of me around. This is going to be the year of Kayshurrr. I am going to do everything to make it be my year. Which sounds so silly, but you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna be silly. Yeah, right? This is it. This is the run. This is the year that we start getting everything on track. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And if, hey, if y'all want to join me on that journey, I would love that. Right? We're gonna, I mean, at the very least, I have some, like, little goals that I want to do for myself, both with and without the channel, and we're gonna make it happen. Right? I feel like, okay, real talk, Luna, I feel like a lot of us were saying that. Like, 2020, we were all just like, this is gonna be it, this is gonna be the year that we actually do, like, the stuff that we all need to. We were all, it seemed like so many of us were, like, gung-ho towards bettering ourselves and bettering the environments around us, and doing everything that we could to make things better in general, however better looks for you. And then the fucking pandemic happened, and it was it ruined everything for all of us. Holy shit. Also, hi Sarah, welcome in. Right, yeah, no, 2020 had so much potential, and like, and again, like, I felt like so many of us had, at least people that I knew, had made, hold on, I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit, because it is a little loud for me. I feel like so many of us finally started recognizing our worth, to put it as simply as possible, but still kind of like have the weight that it has. That's like, we all realize that we deserve the nice things and that we deserve to do things for ourselves. Again, and however that manifests for each and every one of us. And then 2020 was like, would you like a pandemic? And I still think, like, I mean, the pandemic has been extremely difficult on all of us, in various ways. I know for me, it has been equal parts difficult and good. I've done a lot of introspection. I've learned a lot about myself in the last 2 years. Processed a lot of shit that I hadn't processed until now, and that's great, but it has also opened up a whole other bag of more things to process and more things to cope with and other extenuating circumstances that have arisen. And so it's like, but I feel like, again, I can only really speak for myself, but I feel like I'm better equipped to handle a lot of that now, even with how difficult things are. So that's a plus, but boy, that does not change how exhausting everything is. So, general reminder to everyone, especially, I know, again, it's New Year's and we all get sappy at this time of year, but just a reminder to everyone, be gentle with yourself. Reminder, we have been going through a global pandemic for the last 2 years, despite the fact that so many countries, and I can, again, only really speak to America, but specifically, like, the US likes to pretend that it's not a thing anymore. It's still going on. It has been extremely traumatic for a lot of us. Be kind to yourself. But also, strive towards those bigger goals. If you got plans, if you got ideas, if you got dreams, go fucking make it happen. But then also remind yourself that it can't always happen overnight. And you know what? That's okay. Be nice to yourself, too. Anyway, that's my, like, super sappy speech for this morning. Hi, Ams! Hi, Ams. I love you, too. But yeah. I don't know. I love y'all. And I want you all to be happy and healthy. However you can be, mentally, possibly physically, but just in general. Yeah, it's only Goose and Swears after this. We can only, we have hit the sap level, for the week, really. But no, but genuinely, like, I, especially after, like, canceling my classes this morning, or just dropping all my classes and being like, you know what, no, I can't do this. There's been so much pressure for me. It feels like there's been a lot of pressure from people I know and the world at large being like, you just need to get back to normal, everything's fine, and still having some trepidation about that, and being like, you know what, no, I need to do what I need to do, to make sure that I am comfortable and safe, and if not going, if that means not going to school this semester, and being on campus for 6 hours a day, then don't do that. Don't do that. So I'm not gonna do it. Anyway. Hello. Good time zone, y'all. Sorry, I also am, like, super snotty right now. Well, that's the thing. Like, without getting too far into it, hi, I'm 27 years old, and I'm still working on getting my bachelor's degree. And I have been working on getting my bachelor's since I was 17, because I graduated early. There is no rush to get through school. And I know that. I know that. so well. But yeah, I think a lot of it was just, like, there's this push to, like, get everything, quote-unquote, back to normal, and it's like, but I can't. Right? Yeah. So, we're gonna take it easy. I am gonna double down on trying to make the channel even better, just in general, also make me better, work on things that I need to work on. It's not wasted time, it's just time not spent on a college campus full of fucking gross germy germs. Take it easy. Yeah, no, so, it's true. I have all of you guys here, and that means the world to me. But yeah, so that's the general state of things, like, decided as of, like, an hour before stream. It's something that I've basically been considering since I did sign up for classes, and then talked it over with the people who needed to be involved in the conversation, and we're all like, you know what? This is for the best, and so, there we go. Yeah. Y'all ready to play some Wytchwood? I'm done being sappy. But thanks for listening, y'all. But I figured since me talking about school before was kind of like part of the discussion of me changing my schedule here, figured I should let everyone know what was going on. And also, in general, just want to, like, keep y'all privy.
Jeez. I shitted. And farted.
I wanted to keep y'all privy to, what was going on in my life. So, yeah. My window is making everything very difficult because it is so dang bright out there. Give me a hot second. I'm gonna close this window entirely. It is too bright outside. We got all that snow. And it's not ideal. And we hate it. But it's fine. This is fine, Ams. Do your work thing, do the lurk thing. Okay, hold on. Why are none of these working? Why do the commands not work? Give me a second. Dougie. I'm gonna fix this real fast because I keep forgetting to do it. So, can we? I know you want to spam sounds, but also there might be a bit of a cooldown.
Excuse me? Mommy? Sorry. Mommy?
Dougie works
Sorry.
now.
Mommy? Sorry.
There is only farts. Okay, so Dougie works. What was the other one that didn't function? It was Sam's, wasn't it? Sorry. We are troubleshooting a little bit on stream, but that's fine. It's fine. Sam's works now. Should at least. They're all very good, very powerful. And I know that there was another one that wasn't functioning, and I don't remember what it was. I can't believe you've done this? It might have been, I can't believe you've done this. When will you learn is another one that was, like, not functioning. Okay, I think I just need to, like, remind my program where the sound files are. I think that's what was going on. Alright, hold on. Again, I should have done this outside of stream, but I kept forgetting, so we're gonna do it right now. It's fine. Where is... There it is. Okay. What's going on here? Also, Sketchy and Ams, thank you for the contribution to the Sinner's Sandwich. We do have a community challenge up right now, where if we make enough points, I will make and devour the Sinner's Sandwich from Deadly Premonition. Allie, thank you as well. I love all of our sound commands, honestly. They're very good. I need to remember to make the one for Emmy, and I'll do that after stream. That one I have remembered that I needed to do. I just haven't had the energy or motivation to do it. Okay, I think... Sarah, thank you for the contribution as well. Okay, I think that's all of them. If we do happen to find another broken sound, I will attempt to fix it. I think it's time for Wytchwood now, though. I'll be ready for some Wytchwood. Oh, also, while we're here, grip it and rip it. Grip it and rip it. You know what? Even with not going to school, it's gonna give me more time to figure out the merch situation. Since y'all seemed like you wanted that to happen. So, this is fine. It is time to do a murder on a snake, right? We have to... Snake murder? Is there... Kayshurrr! Kayshurrr! It's gonna be beautiful and wonderful and perfect. I'm very excited. I've got a few ideas. We will figure out what we're gonna do. We might, if people know good sites to go through, let me know. I was just considering doing like a Redbubble thing, like what Smiley has. So people can kind of like put whatever image they want on whatever item they want. But, we'll work it out. I'll work it out. I'm sort of spitballing here at the moment. The snake. Let's track that. Right, like we got resources. We got folks who know stuff. Everyone's got things they know. We need to find the shard in the swamp and return to the Forest Pixie's tree. Okay, we can do this. Also, this seems kind of loud. Is the sound okay for y'all? Yeah, Redbubble's pretty alright. That is where Smiley has her merch, and I know, Arcade Kitten also has her merch there as well. Kicked over those little rock piles like you asked. Now give me that shard or I'll knock over this nest too. You smash fairy shrines? Good, good! Take it. We don't want your trash. Thank you for the shard. So now we have to find the shard in the swamp. I don't know where to look in the swamp. What if... It might be past the troll, as I think about it. Okay. I can turn it up then. It just sounds very loud to me. But that's because my headphones are up very loud. When did I do that? Cool, 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 cool. Fortunately, it's just music. It happens. Cool. Great. Great. Thank you for letting me know. Get away from me, goblin. I just want to make sure that it's all fine. And especially with, like, OBS occasionally just, like, switching the, my settings around. It's like, you gotta figure out. Zombie man. Love wife! What a good zombie husband. What a great witch wife. Okay, we need to... how do I kill these things? Snag vines. I haven't... I'm realizing I haven't actually ever killed one of those. Might be worth it to do so, but I need some skeeter snoops. Which we need these for. I know, it's shocking that I have not killed a thing yet. It's okay, we're gonna fix this here in a hot second. I need a hatchet for that skeeter. Give me your snoot. Where did it go? Where did the skeeter snoot go? I blew up the skeeter and it did not give me a snoot. Please. I don't think it did. It did! I just didn't notice. It's fine. Here, let's take the snag vine. Inventory. I just want to see what happens when I do a murder on this guy. Hatchet. We get twigs, obviously, and a totemic moondrop. Nah, skeeter snoot regular drop. I'm just blind and didn't see that I had already picked it up. You know, like you do. What are you? Are you gonna... an impassable bulk, unless perhaps he likes you. Hey. Bert. What? Hey, buddy, I think I need to go up there. I do love the troll's design, though. It's very good. This game is so pretty. Game, why are you so pretty? Skeeter suit. We're just gonna get all of the snoots now. Hashtag not all skeeters. Nah, all skeeters. All skeeters are bad. These are facts. Inventory? I do have salts. I don't really need to do a murder on these buddies, though, because I do get blood from the skeeters. Okay. Who? It's a good game. Would highly recommend. Hey, Totem? Hey, Totem? Hey, Totem? Can you not hurt me, please? Alright, let me check our map real fast. Okay. We need to go over here. So the bridge troll is probably to the next area, as opposed to where I need to go for the snake. Great. Glad we went skeeter hunting. I don't know that I have enough snag vines to take care of all of these guys, though. Because I think it's one snag vine per enemy. Yes, guess we'll find out. Animated wooden effigies seem engaged in a ritualistic dance. They march in stiff patterns around a reflective piece of glass embedded in the soft ground. You can lean in for a better look, just long enough to make out the shard's mirrored surface reflecting the ghostly image of the moon. You think to reach in and grab it, but the swinging limbs of the dancing totems are too dense and quick. Out of my way, you overgrown twigs! Maybe I can get them to shift their attention to some other glittering bauble. Moonlight globe. How do we make that? Where the fuck do I get this from? A glitter bomb? It's fine, we have all the stuff that we need for glitter bombs. I happen to have... Here, we're gonna make some more jars, because I never have enough jars. Yeah, it is in fact on all platforms that I am aware of. Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC. It's a good game. It's a good game. Been enjoying it a lot. Alright, let's give them the moonlight globe. Cast the glowing globe onto the ritual circle and watch as the wooden effigies suddenly lose coordination and knock their wooden limbs into each other. Probably not a Commodore 64, honestly. Question for everyone, along the lines of dealing with links and stuff like that. A lot of the games that we play are all like PC exclusive, but for games that aren't, do you want me to list links to other systems, or do you just want me to like mention in the link that it's also available on other systems? Or are we okay with keeping it as is? The links are really there for you guys, and so I'm asking, I want to know, I need feedback on these. And in general, if anybody has any recommendations for how I can make like the content warnings or the game links better, let me know. But also, if people have ideas for things that, again, can make the channel more accessible, let me know. Yeah, I mean, like, I would still, I guess, if I were to add extra links, I would include, like, the Steam link as well as the links for the other platforms. I think I'm leaning towards just adding the fact that, like, hey, it's also available on these systems. As well as whatever PC link I can find, because not all the games that we play have been on Steam. Yeah. I'll think on it. I'll consider it. That's fair enough. I know that, like, I mean, I do recognize that a lot of us are PC gamers, which is the reason why I tend to, but also, hi Fruity, thank you for the contribution, friend. Which is why I tend to put the, PC link before any other link. But I guess, for those of you who have multiple systems, would you prefer it if I just, like, mentioned in the link that it is available on other systems? I'll probably just add. Again, I want to make that I want to make it as good for y'all as I possibly can. So cool. Dope. I'll just start listing probably before the link which systems it's available on. Cool. Fair. You know what? Neutrality also, in this case, does help. Sweet. Yeah, I'll start doing that then. Alright. You cast the glowing globe into the ritual circle and watch as the wooden effigies suddenly lose coordination and knock their wooden limbs into each other. Take the opportunity to slip between their tall frames and snatch the mirror shard before their frenzied dance begins anew. Half buried in mud, the shard continues to reflect the light of the moon. Take it! Oh, look at him. Look at him. Great. Nope. Don't hit me. We can now go back to the Weeping Maiden. Are there... There was a spot somewhere here in the swamp that had, like, 3 skeeters in a single area. Which was very nice for trying to collect skeeter snoots, because I only had to use the one smoke bomb. Okay, that's fine. Also, I figured out what we're gonna do this evening. We are going to play the Shape-Shifting Detective this evening. It's 3 skeeters in a trench coat. Here they are. Here they are. Okay, that only got 2 of them. That kind of sucks, but you know, it's fine. Okay. But yeah, we're gonna play Shape-Shifting Detective this evening. I was hoping that maybe I would have been able to get Tiny Bunny recorded yesterday, but I was doing my own thing. It's fine. It's all good. But we will start Tiny Bunny next week, which I am very excited about. How are you doing today, Fruity? How's it going? How's things? Maiden. Crying Maiden. Where are you? Here she is. Great. Have you found any of the mirror shards? I wonder where they could be. She holds out the cracked frame of her silver mirror. I'm gonna give her all 3 mirror shards. You gingerly hand over the broken glass shards to the maiden. She's careful not to cut herself on the razor-sharp edges as she slots them into the mirror frame. Bees! We love the bees here. Oh, try and get some rest today. I'm sorry that you've got a bad cough. Even if it's stupid and little. That's obnoxious and not fun. Yeah, do what you can to get some rest today, friend. The pieces click into place perfectly, and the surface of the mirror ripples like the water on a lake. The ripples calm, settling into the form of a pristine crystal mirror. She gazes into the mirror with awe. Look, it's as good as new! Oh! Maiden's reflection ripples and morphs into the visage of a handsome young man. My love, is that you? Overcome with joy, a fresh stream of tears roll down her cheeks. I can't believe my eyes! I don't understand! What happened? Where are you? I'm imprisoned inside my own head. It's horrible here. You have to get me out. You went to the snake, didn't you? Why would you do something so stupid? Listen, my love, I have a confession to make. I'm not actually that good of a musician. Okay, good. You can even, yeah, hot toddy with ginger and lemon, very good. Very good. What are you talking about? I remember that one time we met for D&D, and I think we all just had, like, we either all had a cold, or we were just all very cold. But you made hot toddies with that, and it was great. It was a good time. What are you talking about? It was so beautiful upon your balcony, a bum like me would never get your attention, so I asked the snake to help me out a little. Thought I could protect myself from the snake's hypnotic gaze with this magic mirror. But then you went and broke the darn thing. I didn't break it. It slipped out of my hand. Wait, don't put this on me. How could you be so irresponsible? One problem at a time, children. We fixed the mirror, so it should be able to break the snake's spell now. Oh, it was very good. We should do that again sometime soon. Please and thank you. Yes! Oh, you have no idea how unbearable it is being stuck in here. There's nothing but awful poetry and song lyrics that don't even rhyme. Allie can explain what a hot toddy is better than I can. I think it's... yeah. But you can, if you don't want to do, you can forego the alcohol and just do like a nice simple tea with ginger and lemon and honey. Lemon and honey in general are great for coughs and any sort of like throat related nonsense. Please, Granny, take the mirror. I can hardly stand to look at this buffoon any longer. Babe, wait! She presses the mirror into your hands. Wow, imagine that. Bard is super shitty. Right, lemon and honey are perfect for coughs. I like the ginger aspect in it, especially if you're like, if your cough is like snot related. If you have any like post-nasal drip going on, ginger's really nice because it helps like calm your tummy a little bit. But yeah, get you some warm tea with a little bit of honey and a little bit of lemon, and it will help a lot. May not fix it, but it will help. I think, what is that brand? Hold on a second. Traditional Medicinals, I think is what it is. They have a really good... Is it them? I mean, they've got Throat Coat, which is just super fantastic and wonderful, and I would highly recommend. I want to say they have a lemon one. It may not be them, though. Yeah, the whiskey's there just as a nice relaxant. Don't even need that much in it. Throat Coat is fantastic from Traditional Medicinals. Again, I don't know if that's available in other countries, so that may just be a US thing, but Luna, it would work great for you. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to look at my brands, because I know I found a lemon tea not too terribly long ago that was really, really great. And I don't remember the brand, so I'll get back to you on that, Luna. Goat coat for the throat! Totes my goats! Thank you, Travis. If the one that I found does taste like lemon, if you can't find it though, or if you can't find anything, just get some fresh lemon. Honestly, just get some fresh lemon. Nothing beats some fresh lemon. Look, I will always be yelling about toot plugs, regardless of whether there is whiskey in me or not. Okay? Alright. But also. Chai is so good. But no, the like, honestly, it's just like, if you're doing it with whiskey, just like a splash of whiskey in it. But even still, like, I think the way that Allie made it was you, like, poured your own, like, you mixed it to whatever quantity you wanted it to be, and I think by the end of it, we were all just drinking the hot tea with ginger and lemon and all that stuff, just on its own, and it was just very good. It's very good. You should do it. You should drink it. Not pithy full. Allie, can we make chai together? Hey, Allie, can we make chai together? Love chai. Sudden dread grips the snake as you swing the shimmering mirror to meet his eyes. The mind-altering patterns of his gaze are reflected back to him. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Slowly but steadily, the snake leans closer and closer to the surface of the mirror. His forked tongue flicks against the glass and then disappears beyond it. Oh. It's so beautiful. Like a length of rope being pulled through an eyelid, the snake rushes forward and vanishes into his own reflection. Anything with chai in it, honestly. You've got me. The mirror jolts and butts out of your hand, clattering to the ground. You stoop down, careful not to look too deeply. Give me the mirror! Give me the mirror! Hidden in the reflection of the mirror surface, you can faintly make out a tiny, wriggling shape, trapped just beyond the veil of this world. The soul of the snake. Good. Good, I'm glad we can. The souls of the bear, leech, snake, and ox jostle in your satchel with fearful energies. That's that then. I better get these home to the goat before he ransacks the rest of the place. We got... Great. Can I leave the tent, please? Allow me to leave the tent. Hi, Devo. I can hear my voice screaming in the other room. Ugh. So many things that are spice related are very easy to make. It's just slightly time consuming, but it's so worth it. Looks like the two of them are working things out. Good for them. Girl, you can do better. But also, my guy, you don't gotta change yourself to impress a girl. I promise. Alright, can we head back to our swamp? Swamp time. There we go. I need to set some time aside to like make more spice mixes. I'm all out of curry and garam masala, and it makes me so sad. 'Cause that's stuff that I can like easily, once I have the mix and stuff, I can easily make it and just put it in anything. I need to do that. Ugh. Goat. You in here, goat? Goat, are you in the shrine? Hey, goat. There's goat. Hi, goat. The goat rears its head at the sight of you. Its hooves pound the ground excitedly. Most excellent. I can sense the presence of spirits about you. You must have captured the souls I have asked for. What are you doing, Devo? I forgot to bring your food upstairs. Give me 2 seconds. I need to go grab the bowl of food that I refilled for the cats and then didn't bring back up. So I will be right back. Okay, sorry. Devo was getting antsy, because I filled up the food bowl earlier. And then got distracted making food for myself. And then I forgot to bring the cat food back upstairs. It's here now, and Devo is very happy about it. Thanks! No small task, I can tell you that. Just what do you plan on doing with them? Oh, this and that. Nothing you must concern yourself with. What's important is that you are one step closer to fulfilling your contract with me. Just go ahead and place them in the shrine there. I'll take care of the rest. The goat shakes its head towards a carved relief at the back of the room, grinning in a horrible way that no goat should. First, just try and open your satchel. Put the stuffed bear in. As you bring the stuffed bear close to the carved stone relief in the wall, it spontaneously bursts into flame in your hands, burning away until only a harsh red stone remains. The stone zips out of your grasp and straight into a socket on the wall, buzzing like some angry insect. You are buffeted by flashes of the bear's wrath, drunken roaring, cowering bodies, splintered wood, the smell of honey. Right, poor Teddy. Devo, please. Put the dried worm in. As with the first, the mummified husk of the leech turns to ash as you bring it close to the wall, leaving only a glowing orb in its place. Images of the leech slither into your mind. The prick of a needle, the drip, drip, drip of draining fluids, soothing words, restless sleep. Prismatic colors flash through your head at the thought of the snake, secrets lapped up by a forked tongue, whispers beneath the sound of festivities. The ox brings with him the overbearing heat of the midday sun, the salty tang of sweat in the soil, suffering, sacrifice, solitude. Ah, look at it! Step away from the shrine and its smoldering stones. Your burdens suddenly feel much lighter. Beside you, the sleeping maiden stirs in her slumber, but does not wake. Now then, you've had a very long day. Why don't you get some rest? Tomorrow we shall pick up bright and early. Yes, I am quite tired. I trust Goat. Goat, 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 goat. Alright. Progress! Ah, good morning, my swamp lily. I trust you slept well. Like the dead. Gotta pet the goat. Gotta pet the goat. Good, good goat. I love you, goat. Again, the goat song is my legacy. Gota. Gota! Stretch out your back, making it sound like snapping twigs. Well, no time to dilly-dally. I set the next 4 souls on our list. You must travel east, out of the forest, and towards civilization. Ugh, I hate crowds. Well, it can't be helped. You must seek out those souls in the village, the market, the docks, and the graveyard. Graveyard might at least be a reprieve from chattering townsfolk. Alright, Goat, I'll bring you your souls. You seem much more reasonable today. Have a change of heart, perchance? If these next 4 are anything like the last, they'll get what's coming to them. I'm glad we've reached an understanding. Let's go! 12 souls for 1? It's a very important soul, apparently. I am curious as to who this sleeping maiden is. Actually. Or for waifu. Beautiful. It's true. Look, graveyards, classic witch hangout. We love graveyards. Perfect. It's quiet, no one bothers you. There's lots to look at. You can just hang out. Also, this is new. Llama? That dog is in a sweater! That dog is in a sweater! This anxious little dog attempts frantically to get a town guard's attention as they stand watch in front of the smoking ruins of a burned down shop. Please, you have to listen to me. My friend is missing. Guard stifles a yawn, annoyed at having to work. Oh yeah? What's your friend look like? Sleeves of the sheepdog's oversized sweater flail about comically. She's about yay tall, wears a green vest, has black wool. So she's one of them sheep, huh? Probably just got lost. You know, them types ain't too bright. She didn't get lost, she's gone missing! Her wool shop was burnt down on purpose. Can't you smell it in the air? Calm down, sir. We're investigating the situation, but I'm sure this fire was a simple accident. I bet your friend just left the kettle on or something. A cab. Why don't you check with the ram in the town square? If anyone knows where a lost sheep is, it's probably him. How can you say that? Everyone knows that the ram hates the black sheep. Look at all these footprints. I bet his goons had something to do with this. Listen, you're starting to get on my nerves. Just leave this to the professionals, alright? Turns away from the dog and goes back to doing absolutely nothing. Professionals indeed. They couldn't find a fish in a frying pan. Better look into this funny business myself. All guards are bastards. For real though. Dog, let me talk to you, dog. Okay, you just want me to go find the ram. Okay. It's, what was it in, shit, what was it, Anodyne? It was a cab, but with a K. All knights are bastards. Any type of quote-unquote law enforcement. Get the fuck out of here. Cobblestone. New things to collect. I'm so excited. And a nail? What are you? Copper Road and the pigeon of the earth. I need snap traps. I need snap traps. I think I have snap traps? I have a snap trap. Ah! I need more rope. Okay, it's fine. That's a rat tail. Got a meaty morsel and a rat tail. More things to explode. More things to explode. Things to explode. This cat deserves a treat. Cat treat! Unaesthetic, but invokes a ravenous desire in those of a particular palate. Useful against cats. How do I make cat treat? Milk and fish. No fishing. Game. No, bandit, fuck off. Stop hurting me! You just stole my fucking cobblestone! Go away! Ugh. Shiny lure for the man. Hold on. I can make a pluck pocket to steal from a villager. Stop! Pockets right for plucking. At first glance, this looks like a neglected shack long ago fallen into disrepair, but your canny gaze reveals its construction to be beyond the ravages of time, standing overlooked yet constant until properly disrupted. Running your nail along the grain of one of the nailed-up boards proves to be just the disruption it was waiting for. Shortcut, shortcut, we got a shortcut. The gargoyle's wearing a scarf. Please, 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 please. Just gonna screenshot that, don't mind me. Oh my god, I love this game. I know I've said it before and I will continue to say it. I fucking love this game. No fishing. None fishing. Please. Absolutely none. pheasant plucker, but a pheasant plucker's son, and I'll sit here plucking pheasants till the pheasant plucking's done. That's a lot of pheasant plucking. Skeleton key. When a skeleton applies itself, no lock can withstand in it, or can no lock can stand in its way. Useful against mimics. No mimics. No fishing, no mimics. Excuse me? Ah! Oh no! That was horrific. Okay. Mimics are terrifying. Which we knew beforehand, but also... Wowie, wow, wow. What are you? Elf. Tiniest of people said to be capable of even greater feats of smallness. I don't like mimics. Sorry, I am so snotty. How do I make one of these shiny lures? This is something that we should figure out. Also, how do I make one of these? There's so many new items. My god. Okay, hold on. Let's make a bunch of wicker work. Can't make that, but I can make a shiny lure. Which is great. What? No, I want the elf. Did that just... Fuck off. Fuck off! Stop knocking stuff out of my pocket. You just stole my rat lard. Absolute buffoon. It's fine. I got some elf shoes or something. I don't know. I was getting attacked. Excuse me? Listen closely, brothers and sisters. We must wear our wool proudly and show the world that plain is best. That's right! Plain wool is the best wool! All these outlandish colors and head-splitting patterns do nothing but confuse and enrage the senses. They are the product of misled individuals. And as we all know, individuals are weak. Only the united are strong. Together we speak louder than a single voice. Wait, are all the colors bad then? What about gray? It's almost plain white. Gray is forbidden! Gray is a gateway to blue, and where there's blue, green isn't far behind. And what's next? Yellow? Purple? Even red? Oh no! Anything but red! No! Always remember, colors lead to discord, to chaos! And with chaos, the wolves will come for us all. Ah! Not the wolves! Watch out! There's one right there! The sheep nearly jumps out of its fleece when it notices you. I'm not a wolf, you half-wits. Maybe not, but you're different, and that's just as bad. Right, boss? That's right! So what is it an outsider wants with us? Are you here to tempt my flock with your ideals? I doubt you lot would have room in your heads for any more ideals. But no, I'm here looking for the black sheep. It seems her shop was burned down last night. Wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? That bothersome black sheep is a thorn in my side. Never heeds my warnings. Always goes against what's good and proper. But I assure you, I was tending my flock all night, so I had nothing to do with her disappearance. That little sheepdog begs to differ. He says you've always had it out for the black sheep, and I'm inclined to believe him with all of your prattling. Lies and slander! You have no proof of any wrongdoing. For all we know, she may have just left the kettle on. As the sheep stomp about, you notice flakes of ash leaving black marks on the cobblestones of the village square. Proof, eh? Looks to me like some of your flock have sooty feet. I wonder where this suspicious trail will lead. So much soot. Do you want me to... Is it unveiling powder? It is. Perfect. Sprinkle the revealing powder over the cobblestones to reveal hidden footprints, still blackened by ash. It appears as though several individuals were dragging something away from the town square last night. Okay, but before I follow that, there's a chest that I can rob. Great. What's over here? This is just back to where we started. Okay, I see. Let me catch some of these, because I feel like we're gonna need a bunch of ingredients that I am probably starting to run very low on. What's down here, though? Why is this town so big? Are you a mimic? You're a mimic. I don't like their laugh. I really do not appreciate their laugh. My god. What's down here? Is this to the field? It is! Great. I should probably pick up some stuff while we're here, right? But I wanna catch these sheep being bad. Please. Also pick up the thing when I tell you to pick up the thing, game. Hey, game. Hey, game. Wow. Alright. This is fine. I don't gotta wander around. We can just go. We can go wander in town, in the village, see what's going on. It's gonna be great. Don't even worry about it. Oh. I have the hatchet, not the trowel. Okay, I understand why it wasn't working. This is fine. Alright, guess let's follow the footprints. Let's just do the thing. Also, get away from me, bandit. A struggle must have occurred here. You find the remnants of a torn burlap sack and some scattered fistfuls of wool. Footprints leading away looked to be moving at great speed, like someone was being chased. Happy napping, Sarah. Hope you get some good rest. We'll see you later, friend. I love this game. The music, the visuals, all of it, very good. A pair of lone footprints duck into the vegetable garden. You notice some more footprints searching in confused directions further afield. Black Sheep must have been trying to hide from her pursuers. Maybe she managed to throw them off her trail. We are going to collect all of the things as we pass by, except for rats. Should collect them as we go, but also— wait, I'm sorry, After following the ashen trail through the back streets, you come to a dead end. Your only company is a stone gargoyle squatting atop a building corner. He has shit on his head. Some bird has pooped on our gargoyle. Stand on your tiptoes to examine the great carved demon closer, noting the lovely knitted scarf billowing around its neck. what a fine garment. I could do with a new one. It's starting to get chilly. Just hope it hasn't got any of that bird poo on it. As you reach up to unwrap the scarf, the gargoyle's eyes swivel in their sockets with a sound like two grinding millstones. Well, excuse me. I'm quite fond of this avian excrement, actually. It adds a touch of authenticity to the whole ensemble, don't you think? Oh, I beg your pardon. I didn't realize I was speaking to a watcher. Watcher? Why is it that no one ever comes to watch me? I'm handcrafted from the finest block of artisanal granite, so masterfully chiseled that I come to life. Nothing on this earth or beyond has a greater claim to beauty than I, and yet, day after day, I sit up here and no one gives me so much as a passing glance. Well, maybe if you cleaned up once in a while. Oh, hush, I don't need to take fashion tips from you. And besides, you only looked up at me because of this fabulous scarf, admit it. I was merely following this trail of sooty footprints. But now that you mention it, the scarf has a fine knit to it. You didn't happen to get it from the Black Sheep, did you? Why, where else would I have gotten something so swanky in this dreary little town? The Black Sheep is the only other person around here that appreciates good taste. Unlike that ghastly ram, always ringing that gaudy bell of his and poo-pooing everyone else's fun, this world is alive and needs a good splash of color once in a while. You know where the Black Sheep is, then? Now hold on. How do I know you aren't another agent of banality like the ram? Just look at that skirt. So last century. You have to prove you're an ally of the fashion scene before I say another word. Now, I've had my eyes on some new shoes for ages. Why don't you just snag a pair from the village? Surely no one will notice. Pah, those clogs aren't fit for a horse. No, I've got my heart set on elf shoes. Hey, I got a pair. Have I got a present for you? Delicate, dainty, exquisite, and absolutely to die for. Plus, I could do with a nice hat to go with my fetching scarf. Maybe some needle and thread to do some alterations. My god, this gargoyle is so needy! Well, what are you waiting for? The fashion scene moves too quickly to stand around idle. I need 3 pairs of elf shoes? You don't have 6 feet, my guy! We need a gnome hat, some elf shoes, and a sewing kit. Alright. Listen here, fucko. Got you your sewing kit. Tuck the sewing kit in a safe nook nearby. Well, okay, so gnome hat and elf shoes. To get elf shoes, I need to destroy more elves, and to do that, I need more lures. So we need to get some more fireflies. I also need to figure out how to take care of the gnomes, because I don't know. Hold on. Get over here. Get over here. Explode. Get over here and explode. Give me your dang shoes. What else did I need for another lure? Fireflies, right. Okay. Let's go catch us some fireflies. Maybe gather some other regular ingredients as well, since it's been a minute. You know? Excuse me. Okay. I do like the way that they, like, unveil the map as you progress through the game. It's very, very neat. It's just a good game. We want fireflies, which are in the bottom left-hand side of this map. We should also probably go get more skeeter snoots, since we've been needing a lot of sewing kits. Should probably make more jars so we can get water and milk, because we needed some milk for the kitty cat, which, like, I don't need it right now, but I want to give the cat a treat. I want to give the cat a treat. My goodness. What do I need for more smoke? We need to hunt some frogs, and we need to get some clay. My goodness. We've been doing so well at making sure that we were well stocked. And because we were well stocked, I stopped picking things up. Oopsies. Oh well. This is fine. We'll just catch all the things. And it's gonna be great. Hi Cyril, I love you too. Hi Cyril! How's it going, friend? How are you doing? How's it hanging? Oh, but not me yawning. No yawns. Too early to be tired. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Hi, buddy. Can we dig up your fire? I desperately need some dang clay. It's clay time. Also need more of this. Let's go down here because there's lots of clay down here. Loud sound. Cyril, are you okay? That's terrifying? And I thought it was cold here. Hold on. Yeah, it's currently just 12 degrees. That's gonna be a big ol' yikes from all of us. Have you managed to get warm now? Or at least your power is back on because you're here, right? Immediate concern mode. I need to make sure that you are staying warm and safe and okay. You have to bury Peaches under 20 blankets. Okay, good. I'm glad you're warming up. Goodness gracious. Please stay safe and careful and warm. Yeah, it's too cold. That's too cold. Oh, power was off at work, not at home. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, that is much better. Still not ideal, but... the actual panic that I had for Peaches and Willow. Yeah, did you get sent home? Because, I mean, like, I imagine there's not much you can do if the power is off. Well, I say that, and yet... One time, I worked retail, specifically in, like, selling clothes, and the power at the mall was off, and I was still expected to stay there for my 8-hour shift, despite the fact that there was nothing to do. So that was cool. Right? Sweet Nikki baby. Start the cold for 2 hours, and then I only had 2 hours of work after that. For real. Alright, well, I'm glad that everything is okay. As okay as it can be. Right, also, send your staff home. I think there were a couple of times where that was... I don't know. Just don't do that to your staff. Because, like, it wasn't even... There wasn't even, like, shipments or anything that we could do. And, like, anything else that we could do, we had to, like, have power for. It was bad. Isn't it, though? Yeah, no, I remember you having the HVAC issues, Allie, and it's like serious, especially here. The summers are miserable. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. I don't know if that's what that actually stands for, but basically like the AC and everything that's associated with it. Again, I don't know if that's what the letters stand for, but AC and all that good stuff. Oh, I was right! Hella! Sometimes I smart. Sometimes I smart. Also, Cyril, thank you for the contribution to the Sinner's sandwich. Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't make people sit in miserable conditions and do it. So the Sinner's sandwich is a thing from, I need a puzzle box for this gnome and I hate that. Sinner's sandwich is a thing from Deadly Premonition, the game that we've been playing on the weekends. It is turkey, strawberry jam, and cereal inside a sandwich. If we get enough points, I'm gonna make it and I'm gonna eat it. And I don't think I'm gonna hate it. I think it's gonna be fine. Genuinely think it's gonna be okay. I need to go to the fucking... There's no peanut butter! I just thought there was peanut butter, but there's no peanut butter on it. I don't think. I could be wrong. I don't think there's peanut butter, though. It does sound like it's gonna hurt your mouth. I'm gonna go for a not terribly crunchy cereal. Or if it's a crunchy cereal, it's not one that's going to tear my mouth apart. Yeah, it depends on the cereal. I was thinking like Honey Nut Cheerios or something. Especially since the cereal, honestly, is part of the sandwich that I'm the most concerned about, because I don't like cereal. And so it's gonna be interesting to figure out what, just one big shredded weed, a single hay bale of shredded weeds. We have some Innsmithers. Sorry, hold on a second. We got some Innsmithers. This is a town of fish people. It's fish people. We got fish people. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't, that's what I thought. Just the marshmallows from Lucky Charms. Oops, all marshmallows? Hot take? Marshmallows and cereals? Gross. They're just dehydrated and nasty. I also just don't like marshmallows in general. I don't know. I was thinking like off-brand Frosted Flakes, because fuck Kellogg's, would be really great. But that would tear the absolute shit out of my mouth. We've got time. We've got time to figure this out. It's gonna be great. And like, as I have previously stated, if people have ideas for, the cereal, or just in general, things that we could put into the sandwich, let's go. A single Pop-Tart? No! That's getting away from cereals, though, Travis. Also, I can make a crab trap! I have made a crab trap, and I'm gonna catch this fish. What is it called? A shore skipper. That's not a fish, though. But that did give me a skipper scale. I don't know. Fucking Captain Crunch. I think I've talked about this very, very briefly before, but I fucking hate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Peanut butter? I'm very particular about my peanut butter. Thought Life cereal would be cool. Some cinnamon flavoring. Cinnamon Life might be pretty decent. So many past passersby, this seems yet another collection of crusty barnacles clinging to the surface of a stone until the tide next surges. But you can spot the inconsistencies, the irregularities within the scattered arrangement. And with a single exacting touch, the illusion falls away. A peanut sauce! Peanut sauce is not a sin. Listen here. Peanut sauce on some fucking noodles. Let's go. I do like peanut sauce. I think for me, a lot of my issue with peanut butter is the consistency and the fact that it just sticks to the inside of my mouth, and no matter what I do, I'll never be free of the peanut butter texture in my mouth. As I have grown up, I have realized I've had a lot of issues with texture that I didn't realize were issues with texture. It's fine. No, peanut sauce is very good. Again, just fucking get some, like, garlic noodles and eat some peanut sauce on there. Also, look at this child and her fish. Excuse me, can you spare any seashells? I tried all along the beach, but everyone else always gets to them before I can. She points along the shoreline where you see scores of fishermen digging in the sand. Every so often, one of them discovers a seashell, rejoices as if it were a gold nugget. Seashells? What's the big deal with seashells? The little girl looks down the docks to a particularly large ship at anchor. Oh, 100%. 100% have food sensory issues. Peanut soup? I would try it. I would try it. Because that's the thing, like, I really like the flavor of a lot of things. I just don't like texture. Not Cyril! Please, not liquid nut! Again, mad respect to people who don't like specific types of foods for whatever reason. I get it. I understand. Not the liquid nut, though. Please. When you put it like that, I don't want any of it. Wait, could you not see animated emotes on mobile before? Wait! I remember talking about this because you couldn't figure out which of Smiley's emotes were animated, which ones weren't. I remember now. Good, it's about time Twitch started getting on that. Okay. The little girl looks down at the docks to a particularly large ship at anchor. See that big boat over there? My dad's the captain. He was supposed to come ashore and tell me all about his adventures on the high seas like he always does. But he hasn't come out since they docked. So I tried to go and see him, but there's a grouchy sailor who says I can't go inside the boat unless I got seashells. So I tried to find some, but now everyone else is trying to find them too. There's not enough left for me. Sounds fishy, alright. You stay here, little one. Let me have a chat with the sailor and get to the bottom of this. Really? Oh, I bet he'll listen to a grown-up like you. I promise I won't move a muscle. Look at all the animated emotes in their glory. I'm so mad. I still don't have my animated emote slots. I don't even have my follower slots yet. It's very frustrating. I am annoyed. Not a fishing line. I can make him easy though. Let's go. I don't even have my follower emotes yet, no. Twitch hates me. Is the long and short of it. Twitch says no nice things for me. Twitch, you okay? Mm-mm. Absolutely not. They are not okay. Not in the slightest. What are you? A deep one. Not quite a fish, not quite a man. Something from the depths. Weaknesses? Title picture. Yeah. Deep one, leave me alone. Please. Ah! Stop! I'm just trying to exist, my guy. Daddy Bezos, please. Please, sir, can I have some more? I need more wicker work. I understand. Goodness gracious. Give me the crab trap. Alright, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Get in here, crab. Get in here, crab. Fuck you, crab. I don't want to just keep catching these stupid skippers, but it's fine. It's great. It's great. Quick, someone donate 1,000. Quick! Because if we wait until this evening's stream, then we're just gonna go blow past the very good, nice number. Goodness gracious. Also, market time. They're fighting again. It's a sad unicorn. Hard to say whether this is more donkey or more unicorn, but whichever, it is undeniably sad. I would like to pet the horse. I would like to pet the horse. Let me pet the horse. Oh my god. A great offering of produce sits before this effigy, but you glimpse a single telltale marker secreted into one of the baskets. Quick tug and the illusion is dispelled. Great. You elbow your way to the front of the crowd that is gathered to observe a three-way shouting match. A trio of merchants are yelling wildly at each other. Right, Bigachungus. You treacherous fiend! I know it was you that snuck into my shop and put mealworms in my bread. Look at that chin. Look at that schnoz. Look at those powerful eyebrows. My god. Worms? Do you think I have time to traipse about your silly little bakery? I have to make sure you stay out of my smithy. Firecrackers in my coal, I could have lost an eye. And you would have deserved it, you traitor. I know you ruined a whole batch of my candles with that sulfur stunt. Now my store smells like a mule's behind. The men launch themselves at one another, fists swinging in a whirling melee. Off in the shadows, you catch a stealthy figure watching the chaos with a delighted grin. Look at the cat! Look at the cat! I love the cat! I'm gonna feel bad about killing the cat. Dance! Dance! How the idiots prance! With a flick of her tail, the feline disappears through the maze of market stalls. What's all this commotion about? A dull, monotonous voice drones out across the square in reply. Look at the fucking... you could rest an egg on those eyebrows. Try this, please. But also look at this sad unicorn. Not flaccid unicorn, Luna! Oh no! You don't even know the worst of it. Look at him. Let me talk to him. Hitched to a post, this tragic creature raises its tear-filled eyes at you. Despite its depressing appearance, you find yourself somehow feeling lighter. What on earth is a rainbow spirit doing in the midst of a market brawl? I thought your kind thrived on love and sunshine, and all that kind of sappy dribble. Oh, sure. Normally, this market's a wonderful place to be. Eeyore for flaccid unicorn is kind of what I was going for, but I'll really, like, lean into it. Sorry, Cyril. Oh, sure. Normally, this market's a wonderful place to be, but lately, it's been nothing but misery and unrest. Just look around. All I see are three little brats puffing out their chests and barking like mutts. Surely a hot meal and a good night's rest will cool their heads. I'm afraid it goes deeper than that. You see, all sorts of awful things have been happening. Vandalism in folks' gardens, trash in the well, wagon wheels tampered with, rumors spreading like wildfire about this or that, cheats and lies. Now, I'm usually the one who keeps the peace around here with my trusty magic horn. Makes the truth flow and keeps folk honest. But with all this deception and treachery in the air, it's as limp as a noodle. My powers are useless. Limp noodle horn. Limp noodle horn. Flaccid limp noodle horn. Flaccid limp noodle horn! Tisk, droopy horn is no laughing matter. If you had a bit of a pick-me-up, do you suppose you could get this place under control? Remember to breathe, Luna. Sure as sugar. I just need to get some of my strength back. Good snack ought to perk you right up. Rainbow roll! We're gonna be giving this horse a fucking Viagra. Great. Glitter bomb. What does it take to make those? I got stuff to make a glitter bomb. What? What else? Pastry dough? I need more fucking milk! Hey! Hey, unicorn, can I milk you? Are you milkable? Not a horrid job. Put a strap on the pitmaster. This stream has taken a turn. Oh boy. Can't milk him till he gets his horn up. Listen. You're not wrong. But also listen. It's for the good jokes. It's for the good jokes. Again, your child is either going to be the most powerful punster that ever existed in the world, or your kid's gonna have zero sense of humor. And either way, it's gonna be hilarious. And I'm very excited. Right? Well, I feel like the eye roll game is definitely gonna, like, even if they've got a good sense of humor, you're their parents. There's gonna be some eye rolls. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Okay, can I go through here? What are you doing? What are you doing? We need to fields. I gotta go to the fields. I can't wait to see new pictures. Show me the bean! Show me the bean! Also, cow. I need to make more jars. I can make 3 jars. Great. I gotta move stuff around in my inventory, oh no. Jar? I needed milk for something else though, didn't I? Fuck. Hold on. We needed to make... Let's go ahead and do this. We got the rainbow roll for the sad, flaccid unicorn. Great. We also need... What else did I need milk for? I could have sworn there was something else. Oh well. It's fine. It's fine. Please, catch the bug. Do the bug catching. So what time is it? Alright, we got like 20 minutes. Good. make sure I'm not getting, like, too far ahead of myself. Not Ox's farm. I didn't want to come here. Unless... No, I didn't want to be here. There's nothing here for me to gather. There's just a sad family. It's fine. I might... I don't know. I might do a little bit of this off stream just to, like, gather a bunch of stuff. Thank you, Zero. Sometimes dance breaks are needed. Sometimes you gotta stop and dance a little bit. But yeah, just to do, like, some of this stuff. Not explore any new area, but just gather a bunch of the old nonsense that we're falling behind on. Also, look at the big cabbage boy. Still doing great. You love to see it. Please. Soot Sprite. I should also get more fireflies for the lures, right? Snot. So snotty. I need to take my allergy meds, so I forgot to do that this morning. Oh boy! It's gonna be fine. It's all fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I want to find the field. There it is. We'll get some fairy dust, we'll get some fireflies, we'll get some frog guts, frog slime, whatever. It's all fine. Great. I can also probably get some... There's another spot with berries and fireflies by the maiden, right? Not me forgetting where everything is. Maybe? Chill out, Dryad. Get out of here, Goblin. I haven't gotten goblin boogers in a while. We haven't needed too many of those, but what if I suddenly need some? What if I have a powerful need for some goblin snot? Scare the actual boogers out of them. Give me your fucking boogies! Do it though. Give me your boogers. Give me your boogers. Snot all over me. Gonna stop now. We do need some more. Need some more fucking clay. Always need more clay. I never have enough clay. Ever. Never enough clay. What can I say? I'm snot nice. Sorry. Not Devo sprinkler mode. That's not the snot that I want. Devo, please. Also, what you went through with Viva Pinata last night, not even a tenth of what I gotta deal with Devo on a regular basis. That boy, so screamy. So screamy all of the time. Never not screamy. I love my boy, but my god. Devo Sprinkler. Devo has respiratory issues every so often. He's a very snotty lad. And occasionally will get stuck in a loop of sneezing. But he does it so much and so hard that he literally shoots boogers out of his nose. Because why not? Of course he's actually a toddler. But, it's just a never-ending torrent of just constant for like a good solid like minute or so. Of him just snotting. A boy be snotting. He's a good lad. We love him. Very, very snotty boy. There's definitely a clip of it somewhere. But yeah, he just sounds like a sprinkler when he does it. So he's Snot Sprinkler Devo. It's fine. It's great. We love Devo here. Just snot. He learned it from watching me. Not that I shoot boogers out of my nose. Call that home security. He won't scare anyone away. He's too precious. He would also just roll over and show his belly and be like, love? Love? And then sneeze everywhere. But still be asking for love at the same time. Because why not? Because why not? Pick him up, aim him, and it'll scare anyone away. Nobody wants to be sprinkled. Watch out. This thing's loaded. Just
so we came here to burgle your turts.
Came here to burgle your bugs. Cats are fucking wild. Like, cats are weird ass creatures. Basically, that would be Devo in that situation. Why aren't they petting me, Mom? Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. That would be Devo. Oh, whoa, whoa. Sneeze, 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 sneeze. Love you, Devo. Cyril, no! Don't do it! It's a trap! Here to boogle your turds. Booger your turds. Wait. Things be wild in here. It's great. Don't worry about it. It's all fine. Okay, what can I make things now? I don't remember what we needed to make. It's road trip time. Come on over. Come give me your left nut so you can get sneezed on by my kitty cat. Let's go. That didn't come out the way I wanted it to. It's fine. You understand. You understand. Let's go. Don't be shy. Come on over. Alright, what is this? Right. I needed milk for the cat treat. I remember. But I don't actually need the cat treat. Devo Sprinkler? Not following up Devo Snot to sell. We're not going the gamer girl bathwater route with Devo boogers. No, unacceptable. I will do a lot of things just for the lols. That is not one of them. Not Etsy, please. Etsy, please. Etsy, why are you like this? Oh, goodness. Soot Sprite, Soot Sprite, Soot Sprite! No! Okay. Right? Do anything for the meme, but I won't do that. I stand by Meatloaf being a coward, though. It's fine if it ends up not being your thing. You gotta try it once. Oh, look at my growth. No. Also, hey, Panda! Welcome in. How's it going, friend? My god. Get it. Get it, Elf. Get it, Elf. Oh. Sorry, that hit twice and I didn't see where the dog went, and I thought the dog got fucking zapped. Dog is fine. If other people want to sell your cat's boogers, go for it. I will not be. Boundaries. I mean, I get it. It's just one of those things where I at least... My perspective is that it tends to come from a place of prejudice is where I'm going for. But also, again, if you don't feel comfortable doing it with that partner, don't do it with that partner. Mad respect for that. Gotta say hello to everybody. We're doing pretty alright. It's an alright day. In like the best possible alright sort of way. Can't say it's a great day, but it's a good day. But yeah, we're doing well. How are you doing? How are things going? Oh, not yet. Excuse me, sorry. Oof. Psst, you there. Can I get a word with you? No. Sorry, ma'am, but I must warn you, the graveyard's not safe right now. If you got flowers, I can lay them at a grave if you want. When I croak, nobody better bring me posies. What's the matter? Someone's got the spirits of this place riled up in a real bad way. All restless and cranky they is. Is this the gravekeeper from Graveyard Keeper? Aww. I'm sorry it's been a rough morning for you and that you're not feeling well. Take it easy. Get as much rest as you possibly can. Playing some video games, always a good option. I hope you feel better soon, though. This is what happens when you take the men out of a hole. I didn't take no man out of a hole. I just never put man in a hole. So, I still think it's fine. There's this horrible howling coming from the mansion up the road. A scream that chilled the bumps right off of your goose. Every time I gather up my wits to go take a look-see, my knees turn to jelly as soon as I set foot on the path. Mark my words, that creepy old place is haunted by something more than just a sleepless spirit. Ha, ghost stories are for children. When you get to be my age, it takes something special to put the fright in ya. Well, if you're so sure about that, could you go up there and tell me what you see? Maybe it is something to do with what's got all these ghosts so agitated. Okay, I can do that. It is about time that we end, though. What is this? I got a mandrake root, like you do. Oh. Oh no! Well, like I said, try to get as much rest as you possibly can today. Take it easy. Don't overextend yourself if you don't gotta.
TJ Weiss 24 is raiding with a party of 6. Kayshurrr and the gang welcome you.
TJ, welcome in! Thank you for the raid. Cole the Butcher, hello? Y'all are Y'all are showing up right as we're getting ready to end. We can play a little longer. This is fine. We can play a little longer. Thank you for the raid though, TJ. I super duper appreciate it. Let me pause this for a second and move on over here so we can do a quick introduction. Hide the sweets, it's a raid! You remember to do the thing, Fruity, I'm proud of you. Thank you for getting that shout out there. Doing some Super Mario Maker 2. Nice. Stream is going super well. We're just kind of hanging out, chatting, catching up on stuff. Crafting some things, wandering around. We're in a spooky graveyard right now. But welcome in, TJ and Raiders. Let me do a quick introduction for myself, in case some of y'all don't know who I am. My name is Kayshurrr. You can call me Kaysh. I am a queer horror and mystery game streamer. Lots of spooky stuff around here, of varying degrees of spooky. But yeah, it's a good time. Thank you for following you in for the raid. Yeah, we appreciate it. We do appreciate it, honestly. We love to see friends. I was gonna say I recognize your name, and I'm so sorry if I have forgotten where I have seen you, but I know I recognize you. There's lots of people on Twitch, and I have a shitty memory. Well, welcome on in, everyone. Like I said, my name is Kayshurrr. You can call me Kaysh. We play spooky stuff around here. We are currently playing a game called Wytchwood. It is a very cute, very lovely, very pretty crafting game. You wander around, you solve some inventory item puzzles, get some spirits. Gotta gather some souls to give to your goat friend, who may or may not be the devil. Who knows? It's good fun time though. Yeah, no, we love making new friends. This game is very good. Has Blasted Unicorn. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10 game. No, it's very good and wonderful. But yeah, so because we do spooky content here, I do offer content warnings for every single game that we play. We like to make sure that you are making informed choices about the kind of content that we are looking at. Especially since horror does tend to broach some heavier subjects. If anything is ever uncomfortable or not something that you want to deal with, you can look at the list that we usually provide to determine if this is a thing that you want to do or not. We do try to make the space as comfortable as possible so that we can talk about some of the heavier topics and or just generally be as cozy as possible. I know lots of people strive to make cozy spaces, but we especially here, considering some of the games that we play are a little heavier. Like I said though, Wytchwood is very, very sweet, very nice. Some heavier content, but presented in a very mild manner. But yeah, like I said, we were just starting to wrap things up, getting ready to end our stream. I stream a couple times a day, 5 times a week. That sounds about right. Weekdays I stream in the afternoons and then later in the evenings. And I stream for a couple of hours in the afternoons. But we can play a little bit longer because I want to chat and hang out and get to know y'all a little better. Also, Luna, what are you doing? I don't think we're gonna need to milk him after we give him his rainbow roll Viagra. Oof. So yeah, we'll play for a few more minutes. I don't have much going on today. But yes, like I said, if you ever need to see what kind of content is in the game, like I said, we've got !CW to pull up the content warnings. And if you are ever interested in checking out the game that we are playing, there's !game link. None of this stuff is sponsored. I just want to make sure that we're supporting devs that we like. We play a lot of indie games on the channel as well. And people deserve to get support. Oh no.
I shitted. And farted.
We also have a ton of chat sound commands. We have some of them listed under the player if you want to see what those are. Otherwise, you can just pick them up as we spam them, because that's what we do. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's wild and unhinged here sometimes. But everyone here is big ol' sweetie. We adore folks. Our community is lovely and wonderful, and I hope y'all enjoy what we got. I will say, like I said, we'll probably only play for another like 10 minutes or so. But TJ and Breeders, if y'all need to take a short break, please do that. Your well-being means the most to me. I love all of the support, but at the same time, if you need to get up and do a stretch, get some water, get some food, take care of some stuff around the house, around your space, go for it. We will be ending this soon, but I do stream again today at 6 p.m. Central, and we're going to be doing an FMV game that I'm very excited about. And I'm also just around a ton, so if you think this is the kind of content you want to see, and you want to hang out with us another time, we will be around to do that. No, Cyril's the best. Cyril, you're the best. Y'all, you all are fucking amazing and wonderful, and I adore you all. I cannot stress enough how much I love you guys. Awesome! We love to hear it, but like I said, I want to make sure that y'all are taking care of yourselves. And I will be here another time. So if you gotta get up, do whatever you gotta do, go for it. But again, thank you TJ for the raid. We really appreciate it. Did I ask how your stream was going? If you're gonna hang out for just a minute longer, let me ask how that was. Wow, there are lots of things that I need to do here. Let's go ahead and open up this shrine so that we can fast travel as needed. There's a sheep here. Don't know how to knock the sheep out just yet. We can shear them. That's pretty exciting. I love this game though. Hey, do you want to come here? Hey, y'all want to come here? Hey, y'all want to come here? Give me your fucking skull! Feel very strongly about these ghosts, apparently. It's fine. It was awesome. TJ's in the mega brain. Nice, good. I'm glad the stream was good. Glad everyone had fun with it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm now like I've just hit an energy level where I'm like, oh, I'm tired now, but it's fine. No. I'm gonna get got by some of these ghosts, and I'm not particularly excited about that. Also, we got some head. Is there somebody else in here? Antlered ghost. There are spooky, scary skeletons everywhere. Listen. Also, I get to interact with some of these. Chances are there's a corpse in here as well. Strength they had in life still resonates here. Is that just flavor text for the world? Crypt crawler! Hairy toothy drools a lot, but absolutely not a dog. Understood. We're just gonna walk away. We're gonna walk away from these. I don't think I'm supposed to be in here yet. Something tells me I should probably not be in the crypt just yet. I probably shouldn't even be in the graveyard just yet, honestly.
Don't you want to become a cult leader? Since the death of God, there's been a vacancy open. You could fill that void.
Do love us a good cult around here. Got lots of good sound commands. Getting some play. Hi, Peaches, I love you. Tell Peaches I love her. Tell Peaches I love her. Cyril, tell Peaches I love her. Let me just progressively scream louder about how much I love Peaches. Peaches, you're great. Also, we love you getting off early. Honestly. Okay, I am... We need to go... We'll go take care of the unicorn before we end. And then we'll probably call it there. Don't dig on the man. Dig up the items, please. There we go. Okay. Shall we deflaccify a unicorn? Oop, 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 oop. Gotta give that unicorn his Viagra, so he's no longer limp. Nobody likes a limp horn. But it's okay, it happens. No shame in that. Where the hell is this unicorn? Stimulate the unicorn. Yeah, keep forgetting to mention that. We are an 18+ stream. We, don't try to steer away too much from sexual innuendos, but also we're fucking grown-ass adults here. And sometimes it's funny. I mean, we try not to be, like, extremely sexually explicit. I prefer it to not be extremely sexually explicit. But we also say fuck a lot, and we do make dick jokes, and vagina jokes, and... Yeah, it's very much a reading the room. Oh, we know, Luna. I don't know what you're, I don't know what you're talking about. This? It's fine. It's fine, don't worry about it. Don't call me out like this, Cyril. Good snack ought to perk you right up. Let's see what sort of treats old Granny has in her pockets. Granny's got a rainbow roll. Miserable creature dips its snout in, to investigate your tasty dessert. Is this for me? Troubles me to see a benevolent beast afflicted by such melancholy. And the quicker the horn of yours works, the quicker we can sort out this mess. Throwing back its head, look at his little smile. Throwing back its head, the unicorn swallows the odd confection without even chewing. Spots on its horn is back. The spots on its back glow a soft lavender, and its hoofed feet levitate off the ground for just a moment. From above, a thin sliver of sunlight breaks through the clouds and sparkles off the unicorn's horn, momentarily blinding you in a dazzling flash. When you look back, the unicorn is happily wagging its tail at you. Its horn looks reinvigorated with pearlescent sheen. Ah, that hits the spot. Looks like the old truth detector is working again. Well, what are you waiting for? Blast those fools! The unicorn lowers its horn and takes aim at the feuding shopkeepers. A long moment passes as the unicorn's body quivers with anticipation. Wait, I swear this never happens. My power's all charged up, but none of them are actually lying. So they really did sabotage each other's businesses then? My horn will only be able to blast the lies out of someone who's truly false. As far as they know, they're each telling the truth. Which means someone else must be responsible for this meth. Yeah, he's shooting blanks. It's okay, again! It happens, it's fine. No shame here. Feuding shopkeepers run out of insults to hurl at each other and all storm back to their businesses in a huff. I'll go investigate the scenes of the crimes at their shops. Maybe I can turn up some clues. Turnips? Alright. Our sweet little unicorn is back to being reinvigorated. He's great, he's good to go. Maybe shooting some blanks, but you know what? That's fine. We still love him. we're gonna end stream there. He be a little horny, it's fine. We have a lot of friends on right now. I'm gonna go ahead and post our raid messages for those who are going to come on the raid with us. That very first one is a raid message that anyone can use. It has global emotes on it. It's totally fine. Second one is for subs. It has our channel emotes on it if you want to come hang out with us. Ooh, excuse me, hiccups. We have a couple of options. Would we like to go watch either the Hot Cross or the Just Ryan doing some Dead by Daylight? Sinnoh Beats is doing some Prop Night. Oh, excuse me. Mimi of the Moon is doing some Stardew Valley, and Call Me Primavera is doing some Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. We haven't rated Mimi or Primavera in a minute. I don't think we've rated Primavera in a hot minute. But any of those sound good? Does anyone have any suggestions or recommendations? We're always here to check out new friends. Gonna play some music while we sit here. But if yeah, okay, that would explain it. Let's go hang out with Primavera then. I love Mimi, but I think we've rated Mimi more recently, and if Prima hasn't done any stuff in a hot minute, we want to go see Mimi? We can go see Mimi. What do you want? You want? Okay. We'll go hang out with Prima. Go say hello to our friend Primavera. Again, thank you, TJ, for the raid earlier. We really appreciated it. I will be back later this evening at 6 p.m. Central to do some shape-shifting detective is what it's called. It's an FMV game. It'll be interesting and fun and weird and wacky. Until next time, take care of your dang selves. I love y'all. Stay warm. I don't know. I love y'all. We're gonna go. Okay, bye. Okay, fine, bye. Okay, fine, bye.